conversation with me in your head because I didn't.
No, I did. I told you.
Hear any of this. This is all like completely new stuff. So weirdo. I feel like you need to move over more because the thing's right in your face. $10 seconds.
This is Govs Radio. Govs Radio.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show, coming at you live from Governor's Comedy Club, the legendary Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Thanks for joining us this morning. GovsRadio.com is the website. You can see our show there live right now. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Eddie. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sweet.
Can you hear me?
Cool. Yes, I can.
All right.
Hang on 2 seconds. Can you do a favor? Can you hand me those headphones over there?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. All right. We're what's that? Thanks. Yeah, I'll move this over here. we're a professional group here, ladies and gentlemen. We're all messed up this morning.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I'm barely alive here too. So.
Yeah, this is, you guys are all, you guys are rock stars. You're up late, so this is like super early for you guys.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, I fell asleep kind of early, but then I woke up at like 3, and then I was up all night.
Can we ask why? Yeah.
It wasn't exciting. It was just sleep patterns.
No pictures, no video, no nothing.
Oh, I got a ton of that.
So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show. Andy and I are here this morning on govspodcast.com, coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club. 3 great Governor's Comedy Clubs where you can see Michael Loftus this weekend at McGuire's in Bohemia, Lynn Koplitz at Governor's in Levittown this weekend, and, of course, the one and only Eddie Brill at McGuire's tonight and tomorrow.
No, brokerage.
What did I say?
Brokerage.
Did I say McGuire's?
McGuire's.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The brokerage in Belmore this weekend. Eddie Brill, the legendary Eddie Brill. It is an honor to have you here with us today, sir. It really is.
Very kind of you, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, legendary. Eddie Brill, who, of course, many years was the guy on Letterman. Can we ask, how'd you get that gig?
Well, like, any gig in the industry, it's who you know. And I was working at the Dana Carvey show, warming up the crowds there. Louis C.K. was working there as one of the directors, producers. Bob Smigel as well. The actors were great. It was Dana Carvey and Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell and on and on and on. Well, Louis, when the show got, canceled, Louis went to work for Letterman. And in the course of the time there, Letterman needed a new warm-up comic, and he asked Louis, and Louis recommended me. So,
wow, cool.
I had done a little bit of warm-up before, like I said, Dana Carvey, I warmed up Saved by the Bell for a short time in L.A.
That's actually on my list of questions.
Yeah, in the
That's
late
the
80s.
pinnacle of the career right there, man.
Yeah, it was fun. The most fun about that job was it was literally 5 feet across the hall from the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Oh, cool.
So I got to see all the action, which was great. And then, I got recommended for that show. So, I had like a 6-week trial period that turned into 17 years.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And let me backtrack a little bit. Talking about warm up. I mean, is that it? Because I've had the honor of working with Joey Cola.
Yeah.
Who by the way, Joey Cola, whenever you say his name, people just light up. People just, that's the nicest guy in the world. Oh, I love Joey. And I have to tell you, when we were spreading the word yesterday that you were coming on, we had a very similar reaction. Lots of people reaching out. Oh, my God, Eddie is the best. This is great. Oh, congratulations. Mark David Hirschman.
You know what's interesting about Joey is that he looked more like my father than I do.
Is that right?
He really does. My father was like really short and very, like a high wire act, and a lovely man that made people laugh, So I always tell Joey, I said, he's the real son, and your parents are wondering where I am.
It's like that Lily Tomlin, Bette Midler movie from the late 80s.
Yes, yeah.
It's like DeVito and Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a very similar reaction, and Mark David Hirschman begged me to say hello to you.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's a very good guy.
Nah, that's a very politically correct answer. You have no idea who I'm talking about.
His good side, so I've yet to see the side
Yeah, he's a prick. No, I'm kidding. So I've seen Joey in action doing the warm up for Rachel Ray, and we've had a lot of discussions about it. It's not an easy thing. I mean, it's more than just going in there and doing your act.
You're not doing your act,
right?
Your job is to keep the audience together, and there's all different kinds of warm ups. Joey used to work at the Rosie Show as the warm up,
right?
And there was something that happened to Joey at Long Island Railroad in Penn Station, where somebody pushed him down the stairs, and he had busted up his ankles.
Oh, wow.
And I got to warm up Rosie for like a week. And it was completely different than Letterman, the whole setup. It's you're constantly running up and down the aisles, and you're just trying to keep this crowd together. And it's it's early in the day. I also warmed up a show out in Silver Cup in Long Island, the Madigan Men, which was a great show, an Irish show.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Gabriel Byrne was the star.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's completely different. That you're doing like 8 to 10 hour days, and the crowd is exhausted, and you just got to keep them informed and awake and up. And Joey's perfect for that. Me, I'm a little, at Letterman, it was a different deal because we had an 18-minute warm up, and it was the reason why we had this certain time is because it worked for Johnny Carson's crowds. So Johnny Carson's producers gave Dave the setup that they used for Johnny. At 4 o'clock, the doors open. At 4:12, the warm-up starts. At 4:30, boom, the show starts, taping, and without fail, like a well-oiled machine. I didn't have to run in between commercial breaks because Paul Schaefer and the band was always performing there. So, I had different responsibilities in the commercial breaks, talking to Dave and talking about what the next segment is or whatever, those kind of things, or just talking about the Beatles or, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So each different show that I had done, like I had warmed up a This Is Your Life show. I warmed up a couple of game shows. It's a very important job. Somebody has to do it. You have to keep the crowd going. Like say you're doing Madigan Men at the beginning you're doing a scene and there's like, this guy is breaking up with a girl. Now you take this really long break until they reshoot and now you have to tell the audience, remember in the last section, this guy was breaking up with a girl. And they go, oh yeah. And then, you just, because the audience is just like barely alive. And you're almost like, begging them to stay, offering them bribes, here's a t-shirt, please keep laughing. So it's a very important job. It's a job at every single show that has a studio audience. And there's not that many, but it's a pretty cool job to have. Letterman's job was really cool.
I would think doing Letterman was, and I'm not trying to say any of them are easy, but I would think Letterman was probably the easiest because like you said, a studio audience trying to follow Madigan Men. There's a plot to follow, and there's a more involved. Where Letterman, it's energetic. You got a great band playing. You got all these super famous, super celebrities, movie stars coming on as guests. I would think the crowd is already pumped, and you're just keeping them there.
But you'd be surprised. It wasn't consistent. Like
really,
people are tourists. Mostly the audience weren't New Yorkers.
Right.
A lot of people say, well, it's the New York audience. No, 1%, if barely 1% of the audience.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Okay.
It's all tourists. It's like an e-ticket from Disney World where, okay, now I'm going to do the Letterman ride. Now I'm going to do the Times Square ride. And, so people would come in. They might be drunk because they're partying, they're traveling, and they're running around, and they're shopping, and they have their bags with them, and it's hot outside, and they come in and it's cool. So, there are some audiences that you had to really work. And you just learn to, as a comedian, you learn how to sort of test the rhythm of the room. Right. And you could sense when they're going down, and you just change the energy. It's like, say, as a comedian, if I'm following someone really high energy, like a sort of like a heavy metalish kind of comic, right? My job isn't to do that same kind of energy. My job is to like take a beat and a pause and a confident look, like, okay, it's going to be a little different, and I got this under control. And the audience psychologically knows that you're in control and you're their buddy. I'll give you another example. Like, say you go to a party and there's some guy's house, and the guy meets you at the door, and he takes your coat and he puts it on the bed, and he tells you we're going to have food, and we're going to have drinks, and we're going to play Twister. And, that's who you are. You're the guy at the door.
Right.
Letting everyone know this is your party and you're welcome to it.
Right. Yeah. Now, what about, but Saved by the Bell? I mean, you look at Andy and I, and obviously we are everything Taylor Swift. You look at us, you think Taylor Swift. Now, I would think for you, it's the same thing with Saved by the Bell, right? You were just the perfect fit for that.
I was babysitting, pretty much.
Right.
I was babysitting. And, it was, junior high school kids and stuff.
Right.
And they just wanted to see the kids who were the stars.
Right.
There were 6 of them. They were great. They were nice people. They, Belding, the principal was an amazing guy. Is still an amazing guy. It was just a nice group to work with. But they're kids, and they're starstruck that they're going to go to this taping and see their favorite. These are like rock stars.
Hormones are just going.
Right, and you're in their way.
Right. A friend of mine is married to the drummer for Avril Lavigne's band.
Oh, yeah.
And so once we went to the Nassau Coliseum, and we got that section that's right up by stage, and I've never gotten so many death stares from 12-year-old girls in my life.
Oh God!
Than when I was standing.
What are you doing here?
That right?
Exactly,
They're old. Why
are you
the old
left over
people?
from last night's Islander game?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Did you know that working on Saved by the Bell that this, the one girl would go on to get naked all over that striptease movie?
Had no idea. It was never in, the cool thing was, and I can't think of her name. She had an odd name. It's like Mavis, but it's not that. She was Belding's real life girlfriend, and she was on the show Fridays. And she was a brilliant, I can't believe I can't remember her name because I knew her pretty well. She was in the audience. She was the one adult who would sit in the audience, and I played to her.
Right.
And I made her laugh, which was really incredible for me because, you just really, as a comedian, you want laughs. You want to, you want people to have fun. And she was really incredibly great. She actually just passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh wow!
But it was I went to Emerson College in Boston, which has turned out a million great comedians from back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, all through nowadays.
Yeah.
And Norman Lear and Henry Winkler, and you can take Leno, and then it's like Dennis Leary, Stephen Wright, Mario Cantone, and then Lauren Dombrowski. I mean, you can, and then there's Bill Burr and Anthony Clark, and there's just so many great people that had gone through Emerson. And there was a guy who was working on Saved by the Bell. He called me up. I was living in L.A., making very little money. I was working the Comedy Store every night, $25 a spot or whatever. And it was a chance to make some real money. And it was like once every couple of weeks or so. And I took it, and it was hard work. It was really hard work. And I ended up getting fired from it.
Oh.
Well, there was this little girl who was heckling. and she's like 11. And
So you smacked her.
You suck.
So and you can't go, well, you can't do the typical heckle thing.
Right.
So I was trying to calm her down and I did. I calmed her down, and then she
With a
heckled
pillow.
again. And she kind of was ruining the day.
Right.
Wow.
So I said something like, I had a dream. I had a joke I was going to do about dreams. I said, I had a dream that little girl didn't show up because the crowd hated her, and they wanted me to trash her.
Right.
I said, so I didn't even trash her. I said, I had a dream that little girl didn't show up today and ruin our day. And she burst out in tears.
Oh, good.
And then
Should have went with, hey, I don't smack dicks out of your mouth when you're at work.
Exactly. You're not gonna go there, or you'll definitely be in the annals of history. He told the little girl, that she might be doing that now,
Right.
and that became her career.
I kind of have a fantasy that she is. She was that terrible of a human being.
No wonder why the kids were staring at you. So it was funny. So they said, look, the parents came in and complained. I said, you know what? Let me talk to the parents, and I'll set them straight. Look, your daughter's a bitch, and you better get her under control now. No, I didn't even have that chance. And they said, look, we have to. These people are important people in the industry and our thing. And
Oh wow.
but it was okay. I made the money that I needed to make, and it wasn't really what I wanted to do, but it set me in the direction to do warm up. Like I said, I did This Is Your Life show in New York, and I did a bunch of them, and it was really fun, and again, it was lucrative, which was fine. It gave me the opportunity to not have to travel to do some shitty gig to make certain kind of money. I could make decent money and then stick around and work, all the clubs in New York and make the shitty money there.
Right.
And, because in reality, you just want stage time for stand-up.
Right.
And it allows you to be home more often too, which I'm assuming is a good thing.
I love, one of the great things for me is it's about 1989, 90. I started working in Europe, and, it was amazing and I learned a lot more as a comedian working in Europe and in the England and Ireland, of course. And then there's expats in Paris or Amsterdam. You work for them. And then, they're connected with people in Amsterdam and Hong Kong and stuff. So Bangladesh, I got to work, you get to work and the one thing that I noticed that you would notice, and I was as guilty as any American comic, is there's so much pandering in American comedy. There's so much wanting applause instead of creating laughter.
Right.
Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out tonight. Well, you know what? The truth is I've gone out before. I don't need to applaud. I'm very good at it. I don't need to, it's just the audience, American audience comedians mostly are trying to get the audiences cohesive by getting them to put their hands together instead of being really funny and a charming host or whatever.
Right.
So the first night I was in London, I went to audition at the Comedy Store, and I went to the MC and I said, I didn't say here's my intro. I go, you could tell him I've been on HBO and blah, blah, blah. And I gave this whole list. And the guy looked at me like, fuck you. And I was like, what? And so I go up on stage. He doesn't say any of the things. Doesn't even say I'm from America. I'm following this phenomenal comedian named Jim Tabari, who plays a stand-up bass in his act. It's musical, the worst possible thing, the hardest possible thing to follow.
Right.
And I was kind of like, why? So I do the set, and luckily it went well, and they invited me back for the whole week. So I'm backstage every night with the comedians, and they're sort of warming up to me, and they told me, you're the only comedian from America that's come over here that hangs out with us in the green room. A lot of them think America is a better country than us and thinks we're, these backcountry people, and we work just as hard as anybody else. And comedy in England is always been, Monty Python and Fawlty Towers, and, British comedy has always been amazing. And these American comics have come over and treated them like shit and not hung out with them. I said, well, I'm a comic, and this is what we do backstage. We hang out. And I said, now we're asking questions. What was that the other night when I went up on stage and you just brought me up? And he says, I thought you were bragging about your career. And I'm like, I don't he didn't know that I was giving him an intro. He thought I was going up to him and telling him how great I was.
Oh, wow.
Because they don't do that, or they didn't do that at that time.
Right.
So he was like, "Fuck you! I don't give a shit if you've been on these shows." And and I said, "No, that's my intro." He goes, "Why would you do an intro?" He said, "People who work the Comedy Store are the best comics in the country, in probably the world. And if you're on the show, you're pretty good. And if you suck, they're gonna know."
Right.
So if you set yourself up for failure by saying how great you are and all these, and I never thought about those things.
We were just talking.
We
about
had a
that.
conversation last week about this.
Just about that exactly. So,
like, your next comedian, he's super funny. He's the funniest person you're ever gonna meet.
Colleges and clubs, it's just any kind of way to trump it up instead of just saying, "Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now Billy Johnson," and then you go up on stage.
So is that what they were doing in places like England? Were they just saying, "Okay, here we go with Eddie Brill"?
Are you ready? Our next turn. They would call them turns. Sometimes.
Oh wow!
And here's your next turn. It's like blah blah blah, and you just say, and you come out there, and the crowd is expecting you to do well. And every one of the comics I worked with that week were amazing. They were brilliantly funny and sharp, and So I learned a lot about not trying to, kiss their ass, but to.
Yeah.
There's a term that I learned only a few years ago, and it's sort of like, my slogan is, "I'm not here to please you. If you're pleased, that's fantastic.
Sure.
But my job is to tell my truth and have my fun and do what I love. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, hopefully the next crowd will." And like people go, "Well, I didn't like Chappelle because he did this," and I go, "Well, he's not here to please you.
Right.
Go watch somebody else."
Right. Wow, that's amazing.
And that's better than the constant conversation, I think, in comedy now is like, "Oh, you can't be funny anymore. You can't make fun of stuff."
Oh, you can.
Right, exactly. And it is just accepting that and having that confidence, it sounds like, to just
Yeah,
you.
Most comedians, and I learned this from Louis when I did Letterman for the first time, and Joan Rivers, interesting combination. And my first set ever on Letterman, I had the help of Zoe Friedman, who was the booker, Bud Friedman and Silver Friedman's daughter, and she was the booker there. And also Louis and Joan Rivers and David Brenner, they all told me, when you come out on stage, take a second, look at the crowd, and let them know you're in charge. Just one beat. And they actually can feel it. So, I would come out there and go, "Good evening." I wouldn't ask, "How are you doing?" because there's no reason to ask a question. I don't really care about the answer. So if you and we shouldn't care about the answer. Of course they're good. They're at a TV taping. They're excited. Or, like say you do a comedy show and there's 14 comics on the show, and how is everybody doing? Like, we're just as good as the last 13 comics that asked us how we're doing.
Right.
7 minutes ago, same.
Yeah, and we're still the same. And but you just go up there and you just take that one beat, smile. I've got this. The audience, you could almost see them sitting back, going, "All right, we're in good hands here."
Wow, I'm learning so much.
Dude,
I didn't
know.
expect that
This is-
today.
I love it's great hearing from
Oh yeah.
people who really know.
Even though I'm a Rangers fan.
Yeah, no, that won't hold that against you until
Yeah.
until you're gone, and then I'll
Yeah,
talk
right,
about
I
you.
understand. Yeah.
Do you consider? Because I know you were born in New York, but do you? But you didn't spend a lot of time in New York.
Brooklyn.
Right.
I'm from Brooklyn, and I lived there till just before my 12th birthday. Moved to Florida with my parents, my mother and my stepfather, and a bunch of kids, a shitload of kids, for junior high school and high school, and then back college in Boston at Emerson, where I mentioned, and then back to New York.
So do you consider yourself a New Yorker?
Yeah. Oh,
Nice.
Cool.
Except for 10 years exactly, I'm a New Yorker.
Oh, okay.
I feel you. I was in the Air Force, so 8 years I wasn't here. I'm still a New Yorker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My whole family has accents.
And you've done, and something I definitely just want to bring up. You do a lot of charity work. The Roberto Clemente Foundation, David Ortiz's Children Fund, Sisters.
Well, Clemente was my hero.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Cool.
And my friend Annette, who worked at the Letterman show, who dealt with the travel and a lot of the sports people, she was literally next door. Her office was next to mine. So we talked all the time, and she worked for the Yankees before she worked for Letterman.
Oh, wow.
And she introduced me to like Mattingly, and she knew all of these people really, really well. Such a great person and so loved. And she knew I loved Clemente because, as a Mets fan, as a little kid, the Mets won the World Series on my 11th birthday.
Nice.
And that's the best birthday present you can imagine, in the world. I'm such a sports fanatic. And so an opportunity came to host the Clementine Foundation, and I knew dinners and weekend, and I know that they work with kids, and I've always been, except for the girl that I trashed at Saved by the Bell, I've always been, a good example for kids to let them know, tell them the truth, and let them, develop their own personalities and stand behind them, and let them know that if they're different, it's not bad, just be who you are, that kind of thing. And I was able to do that with all of these great charities. I worked in Puerto Rico a lot. One of the weirdest things was, Roberto Clemente Jr. and the other brothers were all friends. We became friends, which is so surreal.
Super cool.
But when Roberto Clemente Jr. would call me and my caller ID would say Roberto Clemente, so I was like, oh.
Nerdgasm.
So I pick up the phone. I was, oh, it's his son. Yeah. And then, I met Big Poppy when he was Little Poppy, and he was in Wisconsin. He was at the Beloit or Saber Rattlers or something. It was the Minnesota Twins farm team.
Right.
And so his girlfriend was a waitress, and his wife now, the waitress at the comedy club. And, she knew I was a big sports fan. I said, hey, I want you to meet my boyfriend. And he's such a great guy. And, he does the same stuff that Clemente's family does. And,
Right.
So it's really, it's corny, but it's a real joy to see these sports people and kids like come alive. Like I did a lot of stuff for the Barry Bonds stuff, and everyone has their opinions of Barry Bonds, but he's really a great guy and really cares about the community. And you find that out when you go work. And I worked for the Rangers Hockey in Harlem program for many years. And
that makes sense. You in Harlem.
Yeah, it does. And also I worked for the Flyers and the Bruins, and one of the closest teams I got to was the Detroit Red Wings back in the Paul Coffey, Steve Yzerman days.
Cool.
My friend was the announcer for them, and so I love doing charity work. I love getting paid, of course. That's always fun.
That's nice.
But if you can get paid enough and do that charity work, it's very fulfilling.
Is he trying to tell us he wants to get paid for this?
Yeah, I think so.
I was. Yeah. Well, didn't you get the email in the mail?
Talk to them at the brokerage tonight.
We have all the M&Ms.
Oh, good. Okay.
Separate it.
All right. So you mentioned that you're a big sports nut, and you mentioned Met fan. So I have to ask. We had a big conversation on our show yesterday, very topical because it's almost 40 years later, but. Mookie hits that grounder. Do you think he would have beat the pitcher and Buckner to first base anyway?
I've seen it from 7,000 angles, and I think he would have.
Yes,
I think he would have.
See, that's
because
exactly what I said
Buckner
yesterday.
if it was Stapleton playing first base, it would be a different story.
Right.
Now, football-wise, who's your team?
Well, it's all here. I'm 63, so and the Mets won the World Series on my birthday in '69. The Jets won the Super Bowl that year. The Knicks won the championship with Reed and all that stuff.
Right.
My father, who was as big a sports fan, was a minor league baseball player.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
He was nickname was Yogi because he was a catcher in Brooklyn at Lincoln High School, and so there was always sports in our life. And that's how I got to know Clemente, because we were so broke we could only afford the tickets in right field.
After the seventh inning.
Yeah,
kids get in free after the seventh inning.
Throw a guy out from the corner, but like what teams you like? He took me to see the Knicks Lakers Game 7, May 8th, 1970 game. We sat in the third to the top row of Madison Square Garden, but it was one of the most exciting. So that year, 69, 70, really solidified everything for me. And I like the Rangers,
Yeah, we're exactly opposite, you and I.
Yeah. You like
for the New
Yankees and
York,
Giants.
yeah.
But here's the thing where we might be completely different. when the Mets are not in the World Series, I go to the Yankees World Series. I've been to many of them.
I do the same
I'm a New
thing.
Yorker.
No, I want the Mets to win, and this actually is a great. My theory on this: why we can move from Yankees to Mets or Mets to Yankees,
Because the Mets are never in it.
but we can't.
Right.
We cannot go Rangers to Islanders, Islanders to Rangers,
Right,
is
that can't
because
happen.
they're competing for the same thing, the same
Right.
spot in the
Yeah.
playoffs. Like you
Right,
can't.
right.
They're never going to play each other for the championship, except for when they.
Yeah.
And,
Cup,
and
right.
this is why I hate interleague play. All right, that's all
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
My father lived in Oceanside, Long Island.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So he was a huge Islander fan. So him and I would go. He and I, if my English is correct though, is that he loved the Islanders and I loved the Rangers. So we would go to those games, the famous, games. I actually even went to see the Islanders play Vancouver in '81 and caught a puck off of Butch Goring, and it hurt my hand so bad. I think it still hurts. I
bet.
You never felt right after.
Yeah, it was really bizarre.
Wow, that's
And,
impressive, though.
That's
catching
super
a
cool.
puck.
Yeah.
Holy
Catching a
crap.
puck was impressive and stupid. Because it hurt. So I was, young. But
Wow.
my father and I had this rivalry, and it was really fun. And then my son, because he grew up, he's 34, so he grew up when the Devils were big. And he lived
Okay.
upstate New York. So he's a wild Devils team fan because they were the best defensive team and won all those Stanley Cups. My little brothers who grew up in Florida, were born in Florida, were Pirates fans and Steelers fans because in those days in Florida, there was no baseball.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the
Right.
Steelers were We Are Family. And
Right.
National
know.
broadcast, national game of the week, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they go with the best teams. Yeah.
And whenever the Pirates played the Mets, I would bring them up to New York and we'd have a great time, having that little rivalry as well.
Epic fist fights.
Yeah, big time. But I was bigger, so I won.
Nice. All right, so we kind of digressing into
we
sports.
digress.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know you guys do the hockey thing, and
Oh, with Chris Roach,
I've
yeah.
been told that I would be a guest on that for a couple of years now, but
Oh,
Well, they just restarted. The pandemic really effed up
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah,
of
they-
stuff, so
and
I'm
they-
sure they will.
they actually stopped before the pandemic,
Yeah.
and it was a good 2 or 3 years since they were on. They just brought it back about a month
saw
ago.
that,
So
in your email the other day. It's exciting, I mean, John Truson and I are great friends anyway because we've known each other for so many years.
wow.
But the fact that we're Rangers fans and I mean, it's amazing how sports brings people together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Truson, he scares me. He's really into that. Like you'll make or break a friendship with that man over hockey.
Yeah, that's not good. that's not healthy.
And that's actually a good example. That's a good segue into one of the questions I had regarding Letterman, because you became the guy that was kind of bringing in the comedians to be on the show, and we talk about a guy like Truson. I mean, years before I got involved in this club, I knew who Truson was on a local level. To me, one of the guys where I always felt should have been a household name. And there's a million comedians we can, put in that category. Were there ever comedians that you threw onto Letterman that you thought this is the one that's gonna, get on the map and just never kind of took off like
Not
that?
really, because I was booking comics that I knew Letterman would like. He has everyone. It's such a subjective, idea. To who's the funniest comedian. And it's not the Eddie Brill show. It was the Eddie Brill show. There's a few comedians I would have put on that they didn't let me put on because, according to the producers, and not Dave, one-on-one, but they would say, no, we've looked at the tapes, and no, we don't want this comedian. And I mean, it's the Dave Letterman show, and it's what he likes. So I would book people that I was pretty sure he would like, and out of the 4,000 or so comedians from around the world that wanted to be on the show, I could put on like 12 to 20, and probably 6 to 8 of them were regulars every year. So now I only had room for maybe 3 or 4 new ones. And then, people hated me, or actually people probably still hate me. There are people who are uncomfortable around me because I didn't put them on TV.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah. I used to run a comedy club in '84 called the Paper Moon.
Yep.
Colin Quinn and I kind of started it, and it was wildly successful. And it became the Boston Comedy Club. I gave it up because I wanted to travel the world as a comic. And in those days, people were, begging, and we were able to have 52 comics because we had a headliner every weekend.
Right.
And then all the locals. And I try to give everyone stage time, and I was trying to be a mentor, and I put a lot of young comedians on, but you don't put on a comic who's not ready on a big television show.
Right.
It's been done, but it's not the right thing to do. So, along the way, I disappointed people in, like, I wanted to be the booker that I wanted as a comedian.
Right.
So, like, if I had an audition, I didn't want to go home not knowing if I got the show or not. So after the auditions, I'd stay around, and any comic who wanted, I'd give them notes.
Oh, wow, that's great.
That was so awesome.
Great, because that's what I wanted.
Right.
But not everyone. The mistake I made was thinking everyone wanted that. And what people wanted was, you got the show. And if they didn't get the show, it's like, fuck you.
Right.
Who you, and who do you think you are, not knowing how great I am? And there are amazing comedians that I love that I wasn't allowed to put on the show.
Wow.
There are a couple of comedians that I was, begging, and they were like, no, this doesn't fit the show, and that kind of thing. And people think I'm sitting in my apartment going,
because I know that was with Carson. Yeah, see, these are things I've never thought about. I remember with Carson, the comedian would come out, and if he liked you, he would call you over to sit down, and that was always the big thing, right? Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I always just assumed that it was just like, I always assumed like Johnny didn't know who this guy was or this girl was that was coming on.
And Dave didn't always know who it was.
But you still learned certain criteria, I guess.
Yeah, and there were other producers on the show, and and they worked even closer booking wise. That it's a booker for the whole show that was out there, and they would call me last minute, and I'd have somebody ready to go. And I mean, it's a really incredible job. It was a tough job.
Sure.
But I was fighting for comedians the whole way, and a lot of comedians don't know that. They don't know what went on behind the scenes, where I fought for certain comedians or fought for more comedians on the show and all that kind of stuff. And I did my best, and it didn't always work, But again, I wanted to be the person I wanted as booker. I watched every tape that any comedian sent me. I watched them. I didn't have assistants to watch them. Right. I watched thousands of sets. If I traveled to a club, say Denver, on Sunday, I'd ask them to put on 10 of their best local comics. Instead of them sending me tapes, I can see them live and take notes. And so I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of helping a lot of people out. And, if I look back, I sort of regret a little of it, because I didn't focus on my own comedy. Even though I worked, I had to be careful not to do other people's material. But I heard thousands of stuff.
Sure.
And I had to prepare comedians all the time. I had the comedian on this week, and I was doing the whole production of the segment. And then while I had 3 or 4 other comedians getting ready to go, and 3 or 4 other comedians that I was giving it, sort of mentoring and letting them know, look, I think you're great, stick with it, and, we'll work on some sets. And, so it was a pretty full-time job, but it was kind of cool to be able to do that kind of a job, and for that show in that theater for that man.
Right. And that's the thing. You mentioned you didn't get to do your own comedy or focus on it as much, but at the same time, you made your mark in the comedy world for being that guy in that building for that man. I think that's a pretty impressive title to have.
Yeah, and you have to remember not to try to be impressive. And I know what you're saying. I'm not putting it down, but you have to really just do the job that you're assigned to do.
Be present.
And do it well, and take, everyone at that show, like Dave Dorset had the main camera. Dave Dorset was the cameraman for Letterman. Dave Dorset was the cameraman for Walter Cronkite.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So everyone at the show, the producers, the writers, the lighting people, the band, they were the best at what they did, and you had to play on that level. And that's the most fun about that job. And then when the show was over and all that work you put on, forget about it, because you got a show tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of cameraman, do you know Dan Flaherty? You know that name?
Yes.
Yeah, Dan's a friend of mine.
Oh, good. Oh, sweet, nice guy.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's my whole story. I don't have a story. I'm just throwing names out.
Yeah, I have more story than you.
Well, and that's
cousin.
What's that?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
He's my cousin.
You know what? What was it? I mean, you're talking about going to other countries. How does that work? I mean, what if you're like Bangladesh? I mean, was the audience, were they English speaking?
Was
or
it a
did you ever-
boat maker convention?
Like most countries in the world, there's a 1%.
Yes.
And they're the people who travel the world and have the money. And Bangladesh, it's a very poor country, very much like America. It's like there's most of the people are in poverty and having a hard time, and we don't think of it like that. But Bangladesh is really that to the 400th power.
Yeah.
But the 1% are Bangladeshis who are brilliantly smart people, who are savvy in business, who know the English language, and they were really great audiences. And there was a guy I had worked with in LA who was from there and asked me to come over and do stand-up. And I didn't know what to expect. And these audiences were smart. I didn't have to, over-explain things. They knew the news. They knew the news better than we did.
Wow.
They knew, because they're interested. Their businesses rely on America to be a strong, powerful economy.
Right.
Huh. Yeah.
So,
Again, that's So, and I was going to ask too. I guess you didn't have to change your material to make it relatable for them.
Yeah, what happens is you write for humans as opposed to writing for people, country.
Yeah, okay.
Like if I had a set of jokes about dreams, you fall asleep and you have these dreams. Everyone in the world has dreams, so you do material about dreams, and it cuts across every border there is. And so you learn to do that, and then when you want to explain, like you learn how to explain stuff that they might not know, or you can sense that they're not knowing something. But I had so many years of experience of working overseas. It made me a better comic because it forced me to really work hard and to really focus and to pay attention and to use a lot of nonverbal communication. Because like you think of Jack Benny, he got his biggest laughs on pauses.
Yeah,
you
right.
know? And a lot of American comics, or any comics that are starting out, will say the word right in every pause, right? And what that's saying is, I'm not secure in this material. I'm a little bit nervous on stage. I need to fill in that silence because I'm not comfortable in it. Right?
I do.
Right.
What ends up happening?
I do.
Yeah,
You have the
I
negative
said,
space.
1,000 times on stage. And if you watch the great comics, they don't say right. And what you're saying is, when you're asking them right, you're saying, look, I don't really have confidence in what I do. I need your approval. And remember, back in the beginning, we were talking about, I'm not here to please you.
Right.
It's like, I wrote a joke about Adam and Eve, and I'm not going to do the whole joke, but I read, why do Adam and Eve have names? And that was the premise of the joke. And the whole point of it is they're the only people on earth, and who's naming them, kind of thing. So, but I said, why do Adam and Eve have names? And I changed it to, I've often wondered why Adam and Eve have names. And it changed the whole joke, because now I'm coming from a position of knowing, position of telling you how I came up with this, and not asking you to answer a question for me.
Right.
Oh, okay.
It's almost like in
need your
sales, like a close-ended thing. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Jeez, I feel like I'm in a class today.
Yeah.
Hey, I got no class over here.
This is fantastic. I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us today.
Worked out.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely. Nice. Thank you very much. So tonight and tomorrow at the brokerage in Belmore, Eddie Brill
tonight, and my friend J.R. Havlin, who wrote for The Daily Show for 18 years and was on Letterman, he's with me tonight.
Oh, wow.
And Joe Pontillo, who I've worked with a lot.
Oh, Joe's fantastic.
Yeah, him and I have had a lot of fun over the years, and we've worked a lot of the Long Island clubs together.
Right.
And he, last minute, JR couldn't do the Saturday, so I got Joe to come in, and
oh, that's great.
So 8 o'clock tonight, 7:30 tomorrow night.
November 23rd, Joe's going to be in here.
All right.
Yeah, Joe's great. So
That's great.
And so EddieBrill.com, is that, or Eddie Brill Comic?
EddieBrill.com.
Yeah.
I'm on Eddie_Brill at Twitter. But Eddie Comic is who I am at Instagram, and that I get a lot of stuff at Instagram. And, I have all these kind of stuff, these things.
I love your explaining phrases, the history of phrases.
Well, I always loved that. When I was little, there was a joke book that my mom got me because I loved comedy. She loved comedy. We had comedy albums in our house. My parents were only 20 when I was born, so we were like having older brother and sister with cool comedy albums.
Right.
And we always made fun of words. And she gave me this joke book, and I'll never forget the joke. It was, "What did Tennessee?" And the answer is the same thing, Arkansas. And here I am, I'm 5 years old, going, this is the greatest. And my parents loved it, and we were all laughing. So I always loved words. So I would constantly play with words. I would take index cards and I'd put like a guy running, and next to him a cross, like a running across. And it's not brilliant or anything, but my 6-year-old mind was like playing with words. And then I saw Carlin on the Tonight Show, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's my hero. And so I've always been have a lot of fun with words.
I've always felt that way with the road signs that say "Stop ahead."
Yeah.
Like, why would anybody want to stop ahead?
There was one
No, keep going.
When there was I was stationed in North Dakota. We were driving from Devil's Lake back to Minot, and right before you got to the town of Minot, there was a big sign that said "Bump ahead." And there was a guy that if you drove with him, he would hit you in the fucking head. As he was driving, he'd be like, whap. And you'd be like, what the hell? And
that's his one joke. You know?
Right, exactly.
You look forward to telling that joke.
It's like, you guys want to go to Devil's Lake? No.
Yeah, right.
If this guy asks you to go to Devil's Lake,
don't.
No, please don't do that.
No.
All right, there you go. Eddie Brill, again, thank you so much. This was an absolute pleasure
Super
talking
cool.
with you today. Absolutely.
It's my pleasure.
Absolutely.
You can always send me a link and I'll run it and have it run again, or whatever.
Yeah, I'll
know.
I'll isolate it, I'll edit it and stuff, and send it over to you. That'd be great. Thank you very much. And
let's hope we see each other in person soon.
Yeah, that would be great. And again, this weekend at the brokerage. Thank you, Eddie, so much.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right, take care now. Let's see.
Awkward button press.
Yeah,
button
figure
press,
out how to
Yeah,
shut
I'm getting
this off.
leave meeting. Bump ahead.
There you go.
Oh my God, that was one of the coolest.
Yeah, that was fun. Let me fix some of the stuff I got going on here. Clear that.
Dune out of there.
That's right.
The dunes.
Yeah, I gotta get the dunes out. All right, but while I'm while I'm working here, what was that?
What?
What happened?
It was, so you guys might have noticed Tony almost lost his shit. I'm gonna try to recreate it. I can't now, of course, but it wasn't a fart. I would totally own a fart, but it sounded like a fart. I mean, that was the most realistic, like chair fart thing.
Oh, is that what it was?
It was like the chair. These fucking stupid chairs. But he almost lost his shit. There was actually a moment where I'm like, if I look at you right now,
yes,
it's gonna ruin this fucking interview. Yes, because I'm like, because he did one of those, and I'm like, okay, I can't look at him for the rest of the fucking thing, otherwise he's gonna Eddie Brill's gonna think we're dicks.
That's exactly.
Or at least him. I should have thrown you under the bus. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have been like, should have just like looked at you, and you would have been like,
This was 5th grade all over again.
Yes, no.
The other guys would be farting. I'd be the one that can't control them.
I thought we were going to have to address it. I was actually composing how I was going to explain myself to.
This is probably our usual call.
Yeah, right.
You're live in the Knockem Comedy Radio Show. Who's this?
Makes sense.
It's winter now.
Excuse me. What'd you say?
Tito Fuente.
It's winter.
It's winter.
That's right.
No, not until December 21st.
You're early, Winter.
Yeah.
No, the winter the dolphin.
The Winter Dolphin? What?
Are you sure you're
That's
not
right.
Dennis Winter, who I went to high school with?
What?
No, this is the winter the dolphin.
What's a Winter Dolphin?
I don't know. He said, your voice is awfully low for a dolphin.
I know that. That's where you go supposed to you say hello.
It's all those extra testicles you have?
No.
No, the extra testicles have nothing to do with how deep my voice. They're just there for show.
No, this is the winter the dolphin.
I don't know what a Winter the Dolphin is.
Yeah,
But
what movie is that from?
Yeah, but you sound scary, whatever you are.
This is the dolphin from Dolphin Tale.
Dolphin Tale.
What is that? Is that a movie?
Yeah, and I hate the name of that, like a Dolphin Tale. Like, Dolphin tail. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. My
Well,
daughter's
guess what?
watched it.
Guess what? Guess what?
Guess what?
No, tell us.
I got you again. I got both of you.
What do you mean?
Winter, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what do you mean you got us? Are we in your mouth?
No, I said that's that. That was that winter. DJ Love Tony.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The voices, the talent, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
You got me again, DJ D Love.
All the time. I tell you, I'm always getting you all this
You're
single
always
day.
getting me every day.
Yeah, he is.
So I'd like to say one thing too. I saw something on TikTok today.
Okay.
I'd like to say, well, you don't know this. Winter died last night at 8 o'clock. Last night.
I'm sorry. What happened at 8 o'clock last night?
Winter died yesterday at 8 o'clock.
Somebody died? Is that what he said? I don't know.
Winter, yes. The Winter the Dolphin.
Oh, a dolphin died last night? Is that why you called his Winter the Dolphin?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, so Winter is the name of a real dolphin, and this dolphin died? Is that what's going on here?
Yes, right. Yeah, that's right, Tony.
Oh,
Heroin. It's a fucking epidemic.
yep.
Yeah, it was a real dolphin. They made a movie called Dolphin Tale 1 and 2.
Right. She died from her heroin, which she got into heroin because
No, she was 36. She died last night.
she
Died
was.
last night at 8 o'clock.
Did you know Dolphin Tail 2, the subheading of that is why the fuck would you sew a second tail onto this dolphin?
Exactly. Right.
Anyway.
Well, I'm sorry to hear. Are you sad?
Yeah, actually, yes, I am, because it was a good movie, and she was a good dolphin.
She was a good dolphin.
Well, I guess that ruins Dolphin Tail 3 to talk about that.
Yep.
Yeah. It sucks.
Well, I'm sorry. Do you have a rap that you like to dedicate to the Winter
Actually,
the dolphin?
I want to dedicate this song to Winter.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, Winter, we gonna miss you
Gonna miss you.
when you're gone.
When
Oh,
you're
Winter,
gonna miss
oh,
you.
Winter,
Gonna
why you
miss
gotta leave us?
Gonna
But
miss
don't
you.
worry, we all gonna say a prayer. Oh, Winter,
Gonna miss
oh,
you.
Winter,
Gonna miss
we
you.
gonna miss you.
Gonna miss
Oh,
you.
Winter, oh,
Winter.
Winter, we gonna miss you.
Gonna miss you.
Everybody gonna miss you.
Gonna miss you.
Everybody gonna miss Winter. R.I.P. Rest in peace, Winter.
Gonna
Gotta
miss
miss
you,
you.
Winter.
There you go.
Very good.
Nice job there, DJ D Love. Are you going to the funeral?
I see my friends. It was in a box of play. I'll just say, welcome back, Felix. Maybe I hope you come back soon. We all miss him.
Yes, it was nice to hear from Felix yesterday. He called in yesterday. Yeah, it was nice to hear from him, and he said he thinks he might be out from rehab sometime in December.
And we're totally going to do the stripper buffet.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, I can't wait to come back because we all miss him.
Yep, we sure do. Thank you, pal.
That's right.
All right.
There's one more thing like I said, but one more thing before I leave.
Yep.
You guys have a good weekend. I
You
will
too.
see you guys Monday, you suckers.
Suckers! DJ D Love checking in. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about at first.
You're not really plugged in on the whole dolphin acting scene?
I'm not in on the...
If Robert De Niro died, you'd know it.
I would, and I would sing.
But
"Oh,
Winter the
Robert,
Dolphin-
we're gonna miss you."
Flipper, I think, it's one of those things where I think Flipper was like 50 different dolphins.
Petey and the Little Rascals was, I think, 5 different dogs.
The movie Babe, which I've never seen before.
The one with the pig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Apparently, it was literally 50 pigs that they
really?
kept dying.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and of course, let's not.
The only line I ever knew from that movie was
Yeah.
because a friend of mine, my best friend, would like when talking about having sex with an ugly
With a pig.
girl.
Oh, got it.
He would say, "That'll do, pig." I'm like, that's all I need to know about that.
But of course, I'm thinking about Bewitched too. there was the old Darren switch.
Oh yeah. The dick switch.
The dick switch. It was the dick switch.
Nobody's going to notice this other dick.
The Sergeant Dick.
Yes, and York.
Yeah.
Which is
Sergeant
close
York.
to Yolk. Dick Yolk. Be horrible. What a horrible name that would be. Somebody like the parents are really fucked up if they had Dick Yolk. The creamy center of Dick. Is that what we're talking about? Oh, I see him. Gonna throw up.
All right, so Eddie Brill was nice enough to join us today. That was cool, and he joined us
super cool.
immediately, so we had to get right to that. I didn't do a lot of my sharing. I didn't, although nothing broke, so that's good.
Oh my God! And with the rain and the wind and everything,
True. But I wanted to ask you, how you doing? How you feeling?
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Sunday was weird.
Yeah.
We went out to dinner with my parents. We were taking my parents out. My mom's birthday was last month, and we all drove up to my brother's in Rockland County, and we went out to dinner there, which was hilarious because it was a terrible traffic day. So we spent approximately 6 hours in the car, round trip, to go have dinner with people that we live 5 minutes away from, and my brother, and and so like I called my mom because my stepfather's birthday is the 5th, and we're like, hey, I'd like to take you guys out to dinner Friday, whatever. And so my mom's like, I already took the steak out, which she freezes everything.
Oh yeah.
She's a horrible cook.
My mother's the same way. She's one of those that puts the bread in the refrigerator. The batteries go in the refrigerator because it stays good longer. No, it doesn't. It's an urban legend.
Yeah,
But
my mom is like, if that microwave could talk. What's she doing with that petroleum jelly? I'll leave that to your imagination.
No, I'm gonna puke for 24 hours.
But so we're like, and she's like, how about Sunday? Because Saturday she was going to baby shower my cousin, blah, blah, blah. And so we went out to eat at a place that we really like. Didn't go so well, just with we were there for way too long, whatnot. But I had the seafood bisque, which was fine because my mother had it, my stepfather had it. No reaction. I had the lasagna. My mother had lasagna. No reaction. And I did have the tiramisu for dessert. I don't think the tiramisu did this because I was already not feeling great.
You weren't feeling great before you went to the restaurant.
Right.
Okay.
But on the way home, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get home and take a shit. Which isn't, that's a normal thought, I think, for most people.
It is.
And we got in, and I'm like, and my daughters were like smacking each other upside the head, so I had to finish early. Excuse me. And
are you all right talking about this? You're getting all yeah.
Sorry, this is the worst part. But I'm like, oh, this is really uncomfortable, and it was like just on the right side, right under the rib cage. And I'm like, oh, this is, and it just started getting like, oh, and I couldn't get comfortable. And I would later tell, and it was hilarious to tell all of the medical professionals that the heart attack was less annoying.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Than this was. It was just like super uncomfortable. And so finally I'm like, my wife's like, what do you want me to do? What should we do? And it's like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, and when you're just not making good decisions.
Yeah.
And I know you and I are very similar in a lot of the way that we approach things, of being like, no.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not gonna. No. This is as soon as this passes, one good fart and I'll be all right.
Right. Just like a few minutes ago.
Right. And
I'm gonna be laughing at that all day.
Thank God that happened, because we would have had to call the ambulance. But like, take me to Stony Brook. They're like, you in Levittown, asshole. But so we call the fire department. We're like, hey, because this is how fucking backwards where I live is as soon as you move there, they're like, here's the number to the firehouse. isn't the number 911? They're like, it's so much faster to do this. Like, okay.
Cut out the middleman.
Right, exactly. Like, so if you only need the fire department and an ambulance, you just call that number. So she calls the firehouse, which we have one in our development. Like, Station 2 is in our neighborhood. And so they come, and you could tell how disappointed they were that I wasn't, like, ODing.
Right, yeah.
Like, they all had their Narcan ready. But my wife's on the phone, and she's like she's one of those people that's terrible at charades. So she's like, my husband, and he has a pain in his foot. No, it's my stomach. I'm sorry, I'm in his stomach. Like, she's just like not getting it. It's on the left side. No, it's on the right side. Like, and I was able to get myself kind of collected and had all the medications I'm on, which is a ton. And I'm actually standing outside. We're waiting for the thing, and we hear them fucking fire. It's 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday. And it's in our development. It's a no outlet development. There's no through traffic.
Oh, okay.
They fire off the thing a couple of times on the way. We're like, what the fuck are they doing? And again, I also don't want to make a big scene because, again, this is that whole outlook kind of thing. And they pull up, and the first responder truck is also is right behind them. So I'm like, all right. They go, you all right? I'm like, I'm uncomfortable. It's more uncomfortable than anything. I got to use my. They go, how do you spell your name? And I had no time. I could not concentrate to get through. So PL again OS. And I actually hear them be like, that's so cool. That's actually how you spell his name. You heard the guy say it. And they're like, I'm like, I just got to get the hell out of here. They bring me to the emergency room. Best thing about going by ambulance is you get taken right in. But I'm there for a while, and I'm trying to be super cool. And I realized there was a certain point where I realized where I'm like I'm just uncomfortable. I feel like if I could just get comfortable, like whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But, and she's like, do you want to, should we give you morphine? It's the PA says this to me. And I'm like, how do I answer this question? Like, should I say yes? Because then does it sound like I'm chasing a high?
Oh.
Who's this?
It's Beansy. Well, I kind of owe him once. I hung up on him.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Great timing.
What do you mean great timing?
Nothing. Go ahead.
You sure not? Thanks for hanging up on me yesterday.
My apologies. I didn't do it on purpose.
I know.
Unlike other people, I hung up on purpose yesterday.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but yeah, I was trying to patch the call in while you were there, and I hung up on you. My apologies.
No problem, because you know why, Tony?
Why?
Because I knew who was calling, so I hung up.
Is that right? Did you really hang up?
Yes, I did.
Oh, so maybe I didn't hang up on you after all.
So now we don't have to take his call. Go ahead,
just
hang up on him now.
That,
and you can take care of this shit on Monday.
Anyway, how you guys doing?
All right.
We're trying to find out how Andy is, actually.
Well, how is he, Andy? How are you?
I'm all right. I'm hanging to the right today.
Well, if you take off that Islander shirt, you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know you want that, you fucking sick fuck.
I can't stand the fucking Islanders. Islanders suck ass.
Oh, my
you know that,
goodness. Right? Well, Joe's going to use this shirt as a bib.
A bib.
So what, are you a Ranger fan, or you?
I'm a diehard Ranger fan.
Diehard Ranger fan.
Yeah. I'm
Then
55, and I've been a Ranger fan since I'm probably 4 years old.
4 years old? Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I have all my Ranger gear and all that.
Gear? All your needles?
Yeah, gear.
Yeah, Richard gear.
Everything's drug culture.
So what are you guys doing for the weekend?
What are you doing for the weekend,
Well, I'm
Andy?
doing a podcast today where I'm going to talk about my hospital. I actually don't have anything. I was really playing with the idea of trying to make it to the brokerage, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
Yeah, I would love to actually go see Eddie Brill, but we'll. I'll be here. I'll be here tomorrow night for Lynn Koplitz doing the Green Room show with Don. and Sallie, I believe.
Oh,
will be
that's right, Don.
Very cool.
Yep.
Yep, that's it for us. What are you eating this weekend?
You know what? Your guess is as good as mine. I have a surprise this weekend.
Wow. So you don't put in like requests. They just cook whatever they feel like for you, and they just shovel it right into you.
No. I put my request in, absolutely.
But they just don't listen to you.
No, they do. They have no choice, no matter.
Oh, wow.
They have no choice.
I've been watching a lot of real crime drama. This a series on Netflix. This sounds like all the beginning stages of right before you have your mental break, and you do the family annihilation thing,
or right before they have their break, and Joe just disappears with his cement boots.
Yeah, right.
Tonight in Florida news, Joe Stas has disappeared.
Sure.
Well, I got to work this weekend anyway, so.
You got to work? Wait a minute. Whoa. Did you say work?
Whoa. You didn't know?
What are you working?
You better work.
I work in a casino. I work in an Isles casino
I did not know that.
in Fort Lauderdale.
You're not the entertainment, are you?
No, I don't strip at night. I'm security.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm going to make a guess here that even if a one-legged man ran in there and stole some cash, he would outrun you.
Most likely, yeah.
Or do you carry
But then
a gun?
I could tase you.
You could tase me.
He's so security. He's insecurity.
Ooh. That's pretty good.
Thank you. I'm ripping off the Three
I'm
Amigos.
going to have to frisk you, you know?
He's
Spread
so,
them.
he's so famous,
Spread
he's
one.
infamous.
Oh, wow. I'm bad at
one
movie
leg.
quotes. Wow. So
Yeah, I know. I just got that job as a security in Isles Casino.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, I used to live in Lauderdale by the sea, so I'm familiar with that place.
you know, it's in Pompano.
Yeah.
Pompano Racetrack. It's a racino, so they needed me because I'm a big guy. You know, I'm only 6'4", 374 pounds. Don't worry about it.
don't worry about it.
Never heard that before.
So I guess the chef business really worked out for you now that you're just a security guard.
when I'm over there, you know, I get a nice dinner over there. You know, of course, you know.
Yeah,
I'm still in the food.
They probably just pay him half, and the rest of it's
Yeah.
paid in food.
Yeah, paid in food.
What would you like an hour? One steak an hour.
Well, it's like the Blues
Well,
Brothers. You boys
well,
ate
they
a
give
lot
you
of
2 hour
steak
lunch break.
while you was working.
That's right. We see you owe us $200.
I gotta go sign the traveler's check on the dashboard because that's what I always do.
And my brother needs to come with me.
That's
He needs to sign it too.
That's my favorite line in that movie. I have to go sign the traveler's check on the dashboard because that's what I always do.
No, but it's a good job. It's nice.
Have
I
you
like it.
have you had to take anybody down yet?
No, not yet.
Have you fired the
yet.
taser?
No, not yet.
Can we Zoom with you and you fire the taser right now at I don't know, you got
You're
who's
nuts.
At
Well,
your
not
nuts.
right now. I'm not there, but I can get the Zoom going.
Oh, you don't
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, but we don't want to Zoom with you if you don't have the taser.
Okay, so when I have the taser, then I'll Zoom. I'll Zoom with you.
You don't do you normally bring it home with you?
Actually, I'm not allowed to bring it home.
Oh, damn it. All right, so
Well, I'm going for my gun permit, actually, too, in about a month.
why?
Well, more money.
Ah.
I was gonna say Florida is even less safe.
Take a video.
Totally different.
If that could happen.
Take a video this weekend of you at work tasing your nuts, and then I'll play it on Monday.
Okay.
All right, you'll do that?
We'll go
My wife-
viral.
Well, she can.
Yeah, and I bet it will go viral.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You get a million hits in no time.
Yep, just like, tasing your nuts. Tase your nuts 100 times, a million times.
All right, guys. I just wanted to call in because I missed out yesterday. So
Sorry about that. All right, have a great weekend at work and work that taser.
Yeah.
thank you. You too.
Thanks a
care,
lot.
guys.
See ya.
Okay, bye.
I just realized I told him I'd play it Monday, but we're actually going to be off.
All right.
I want to get back to your stomach, but while I'm thinking of it, so is this the last time I'm going to see you before Thanksgiving, or are you able to come in any of those days? Because we're not here next week, and then the following week is Thanksgiving week, so I'm only going to be here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Let me consult my.
All right.
Motherfucker.
And Joe Pontillo is coming in. I think it's that Tuesday, whichever day the 23rd is. He's coming in.
The December 23rd?
November
23rd. That's a Tuesday.
That's the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. Okay,
Yes.
so he's coming in that day. But of course, whatever day you're free, if you are any day, of course you come in if you want. That was the
Wednesday.
weirdest way I was able to. Are you? Oh.
You don't have shows Wednesday.
Oh shit! I'm not even thinking. So I'm only on Monday. You know what? I might do Wednesday that week.
Oh man.
I might.
What is, because it's Thanksgiving Eve. What do I have? Oh yeah, now I know what I have. I know what I have. It's all the way you say shit.
It's like you got one up on somebody.
I know what I have.
I know what I have.
Which I didn't watch Seinfeld enough to watch the episode. Everybody always tells me it's these pretzels are salty or whatever.
Oh yeah.
People always tell me about that. But I've been doing that kind of thing since I was a kid, and so it's like, oh, show about nothing.
All right. So you're in the hospital,
right? Well, before you get to the hospital, is the people in the the ambulance ride. There's two ways to get to Stony Brook from my house. Because again, it's no outlet, and you come out on a secondary road. Like, it's a pretty primary road for the area.
Stony Brook is the closest hospital to you?
No. We have 3 hospitals that are actually pretty close to us.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mather is probably the closest, but not by much.
Really?
Yeah. Not it. Well, here's the thing: is probably more about driving time. So Stony Brook is right off of Nichols Road, which is a pretty major road, and 347 intersects Nichols Road. I live just off of 347. And so that's the fastest way to go, is to take 347 up to Nichols, especially if you're going lights and sirens. You should be able to do it. We were not going lights and sirens. We weren't even going lights.
Oh, your
Then the
sickness wasn't important enough.
No,
I
we went what we all call the back way, which is to take. Yeah, it is. I requested it. Usually I have to pay extra. But it's to take Sheep Pasture Road, right? Names of roads that are what they used to be.
Oh, okay.
So there used to be a sheep pasture, and there's upper sheep pasture and lower sheep pasture at one point. But there's a golf course that you pass where we grow up. That's where we all went sledding and whatnot, St. George's, and they hate it. And they always put up new no parking signs, like more and more no parking signs. But anywho, we go down there, and it spits out right at the end of Nichols Road.
Okay.
Like the very northernmost spot. And like you can see 25A, which is a T intersection. I know, there's a lot of detail. What year was that? No, I know you can appreciate it. If Sallie was here, she'd be like, okay!
Yep. I like detail.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So we get to hospital. She says, oh, you don't want us to give you morphine? And I'm like...
Oh, that's where we left off.
I have my half of my family literally are nurses, and we now have a doctor, but he married in, so he doesn't really count. But he's an Islander fan, so he does.
Oh, all right, that's all right.
But they live in Connecticut.
You could have swam over to.
I'm all about the roller coaster, and
of love.
But I'm like, immediately I'm like, I hope they don't think I'm just like a fucking junkie. But then I'm like, no, they're putting a line in. I guess I haven't even looked. They're putting a line in. They're going to see that, and I kind of like made sure that they could see in between my fingers so that they wouldn't see that I have no like puncture marks. Like, this is the level that I'm thinking at.
Right, when you're just...
Because I'm like, I want this morphine so bad. I don't want to give them any reason to not give me the morphine. And but they gave it to me, and it was like, oh my God, that's so much better.
Yeah.
And I felt, because now it's late, and this is about the time I would be going to sleep and whatnot. So I was able to rest a little bit. They came in to information, blah, blah, blah. Then they started bringing me for scans. At one point, I woke up and they were wheeling me to get a sonogram.
Okay.
And so I had sonogram, and I'm trying to be the best possible patient because, again, half my family, and you hear all the stories, like the pain scale. They didn't even ask me the pain scale. No, they did.
Oh, okay.
And because when I had my heart attack, when they asked me the pain scale, I said probably a 4 or a 5, and they're like, for a heart attack, and I'm like, well, 10 is I'd be out from the pain. 9, I'd be in and out. 8, I'd be about to go out because it's so painful. So yeah, I'm two or 3 below that. I'm not, it's not 1, it's not 2, it's not 3, but
Right.
it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like 7. This is a 7. Like because it just like I had to keep I would keep moving, and I was vomiting at home and
A lot, right? Or no?
yeah, like more than I thought I had. And then, as a vomiting connoisseur that I am, there was a point where I'm like, that was bile. Like I'm at the bottom. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like I was like,
yeah.
And especially when you were as much of a drinker as I used to be, there was always like alcohol poisoning is when you have alcohol poisoning when you vomit and your vomit looks like coffee grounds.
Coffee grinds?
Yeah. So that's where I was at. I was like, oh wow, that's coffee grounds. And I had diarrhea also. It was just like it was almost like having a rhinovirus, which my wife was like, maybe you just have like this like severe flu that just is hitting you.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this pain, so then they gave me a CAT scan. They're getting me in and out and whatnot. The morphine starts wearing off, and I start getting
sucks.
worse. I hit the call button. This woman comes in, and I said 2 things. I have to pee, and what do you call it? The pain medication is wearing off, and I'm getting very uncomfortable.
Why'd you have to tell you to pee? You couldn't were you chained to the bed because you're psycho, or you couldn't get up to walk to the bathroom?
Well, I need to know where the bathroom was. Like you don't just start going places when you're in the emergency room.
Oh.
If they put you in a place, stay there because you're there for a reason.
Oh.
Like I know it's kind of like it's an odd concept, and I'm just again growing up hearing all of these stories. You don't wander around the emergency room because you might get in the way, you might fuck something up. Like, just stay where you are. Hit the call button. They will come because it's super annoying, the sound that it makes.
Yes.
So not my nurse comes in and she's like, I'm like, I have to pee. I have to pee. Like, where's the bathroom? And she goes, can you walk? And I go, you know what? I haven't tried. And she's like, wait, you came in on a stretcher? I said, yeah. She goes, well, you can't get up and walk. And I'm like, okay.
All right, then here we go.
Well, great. That's why I'm telling you.
Right,
And this
right.
is why you do that, is because there's insurance, there's a bunch of things. Like, make sure that it's okay that you can do the things that you, because when I had my heart attack, I think I probably told you about the guy next to me who was like, I gotta take a shit.
Yes.
And they wouldn't.
Yes.
They were like, no, you have to do it from here because your blood pressure. My blood pressure is going to improve once I take this shit. Yeah, no. But if you get up, you could fall over and crack your skull.
Right.
Again, all of these things are what goes. Again, I overthink. And so I'm like, she's like, well, you're going to have to use the urinal. I'm like, yes, just then fucking give
me
to
one. Right.
Like, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Right.
I'm trying to make your life yes, sorry you had to get up and fucking bring me the thing. But thank you.
That's your job.
Right. And so then the nurse comes back because I had seen her leave. And she came back and gave me the next bit of painkiller, which was not morphine. It was something else she's like, this is stronger.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I didn't need anything stronger, but thank you very much. And I went out and up, out. Like, I did get a lot of sleep while I was there. But, and then I'm also trying to text my wife. Doctors come in and whenever we're talking about her, they're like, yeah, we don't know what it is.
Great.
I'm like, okay. Well, and here's the thing, like, because, like, we tend to think of everything as being static, like not moving, but our bodies are constantly working. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a mind blow to think all the way down to the cellular level. There's so many things that are going on. And what my brother said afterwards because he called me, and I go, Yeah, they said they didn't know what it was, but the pain was gone. Like after I came out of the second one, and he's an ER nurse,
Right.
So he's dealt with stuff like this before, and he goes, well, what probably happened is I bet you had some sludge or a stone or something, and before they got you to imaging, it cleared.
But where would the stone be if it's
Gallbladder.
Oh, gallbladder.
Sorry, because this is Joan's like the only one out there going, because it's fucking gallbladder.
Right.
Because it's like obviously like that to the medical people. Now me, because I didn't know that. I'm like, gallbladder. I always think everything's like over here. Like, yeah, my appendix, the
Right.
gallbladder, all the things that I don't know anything about, they're over my left side and down here. Because that's never hurt me.
There's a lot going on down there.
Right, yeah. Like the extra testicles, dolphin testicles I had implanted. Make my voice not deeper, but they're just there for
That's
show.
why we call you Winter Plagianos.
Yes. That's right. One of my favorite jokes of all time, street jokes. Well, it's funny because I never remember them, but it's like moments like this. So guy goes to the doctor. He's got 4 testicles. And he's like, doctor, you have to help me. My voice is too deep. I need, this is the extra testicles, extra testosterone. Doctor's like, are you sure? Because this is like, it's an intrusive procedure. Yes, please, just stay. So he goes through the surgery, takes him out, and he's gone for a couple of weeks. Guy comes back and he goes, hey, doc, listen, I got to have my balls back. Like, because I didn't realize what an effect on my sex life it was going to be. And the doctor's like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Oh, it was a good one. But yeah, it was nothing. It was nothing.
So they never found anything. Your brother thinks it was a stone that passed before.
Yeah.
Oh, so when you peed.
No, I think like my body just processed.
Oh, when you threw it up, when you were throwing. Oh no, it had to be still there. When
It just because everything is like my body's trying to get rid of it, and that's what that pain was that it couldn't.
Right.
So it and I truly believe that it was the sedative that made me like kind of because you're I'm moving around, I'm using my abs because the next day I'm like, whew, it's like feels like I did a sit up.
I'll tell you, I had a kidney stone once, and it was awful. And it was the worst pain I ever had in my life. And same thing, I started to feel a pain, was getting uncomfortable, having a hard time breathing, and I did what you did. I'm just taking
Cut my leg off?
Yes, and then I was fine. I got in the car, I was driving myself. I made it maybe 2 blocks. Went back home because I couldn't take it. And I ran into the house and I puked.
Nice.
And I was getting more and more sweaty, and it was really bad. And it was like 5 a.m. or something. We had to go wake the kids up because my ex-wife, she was going to take me to the hospital, but the kids were too little.
Right.
So we wake them up, and I'm in the hospital. I'm in the car, and I'm shivering, and I'm sweating, and I'm feeling awful. But they said the same thing. They think they couldn't find anything. They were convinced that it was a kidney stone that must have. Oh, did they find a kidney stone? They did. They found the stone, but they said it's so little that you probably will pass it and you won't even know. Yes. And I said, everything on me is so little. And that's what happened. Same thing. They gave me morphine, knocked me out. I felt great.
Right.
And even the morphine wore off. I felt great. So it must have passed without me even feeling it, which means we couldn't find it either. That which kind of sucks. They like to take that thing. The worst
for their collection.
Yeah. The worst part, it happened on a Friday. It was a Saturday. It was a Saturday morning. So the doctors, of course, are like, on, weekend time.
Oh, right.
This was, like I said, like 5 or 6 in the morning. I was fine. By 9 o'clock, I'm back to completely normal. But
now you have to wait.
I had to wait. And I had to wait. And I had to wait. I had to get out of there Sunday night or Monday morning. I spent the whole week. It was Monday morning. My buddy Sal, who was watching yesterday and commenting, he shows up with, the brown bonnets at Carvel, the ice cream with He brings a bunch of those. We're sitting in the hospital eating those. We were having like a party.
Right.
I got friendly with the guy I was sharing a room with. We were laughing our asses off all weekend. And across the hall from me was an 80-year-old man who was having diabetic issues, and they were. So this was a Saturday. That night, they were chopping his leg off. So they're like, "Can you go sit with him and talk to him and stuff about it?" I was like, "Okay." And so that ended up being most of my weekend, spending my time with this guy and his family. Right. And he probably died the next day. I'm kidding. I saw him the next day, and
and he died.
What's that?
Yeah, and he died.
But yeah, but it was the worst pain, worse than anything I went through with cancer and amputation. And oh my God, it was terrible.
I just wanted to get into a comfortable position. That's all.
Yeah.
And that was terrible. But I'm totally fine. But the other thing, and all week I've not been feeling particularly good. The reason why is they gave me like a bunch of, because when you tell them in the emergency room, like, yeah, vomiting, I feel nauseous, and I'm diarrhea, I always like to use loose stool. My stool is loose. Get it. Quick, get it. If you feed it after midnight, it multiplies. Or if you get it wet. And then I move into Billy Geyer. Need to go from gizmo to gizmo. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, they give you all of these like anti-nausea, anti-diarrhea, whatever, and it locks you up. And so for a couple of days, I'm like I know something's in there.
And somebody was just calling you.
Oh, good. Probably a robocall. Please be. Yeah, totally robocall.
Oh, okay. And so you're still not 100%?
No. Well, what happened was yesterday. It's always great. My wife's always like, since the heart attack and whatnot, like, oh, we're going for a walk. You want to come with us? And I'm like, no, because they don't. Like, I know where you're walking, and I don't feel comfortable. Bike ride? You want to go for a bike ride? No, because we're gonna get where I know you guys are going, and I'm not gonna be comfortable getting back. That's. So I've been very cautious. Like, not that I'm not exercising at all, but I don't want to make myself more of a problem.
Were you cautious coming here because you were driving in the rain? You got like an hour drive.
I did, and then I had to slam on my brakes at one point too. Like, I almost literally got into an accident. It was right past 37A with the expressway off the Northern State Parkway,
mm-hmm.
and this idiot had just, I think, started merging and rear-ended or sideswiped or whatever this other car, and they were, I guess, trying to move over at that point, and you couldn't see anything.
Was one of them like a gray Mazda?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw, because I came on the Northern State, and I felt so good. No, I was driving on the Northern State, and I saw that. Yeah, I saw them on the side of the road.
She's like, give me that cup.
So 37A by the expressway, that's right by the 106, 107 exit for Hicksville.
Yes.
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you for giving me the...
I already have that map drawn.
Yep.
But, yeah, so yesterday they're like, oh, we're going for a walk. You want to come with? And I'm like, no, I don't feel quite like, and I didn't want to tell my wife. Thing is, I feel like I might finally take a real shit.
Oh, so yeah, so you mentioned slamming on the brakes. So did that did that enhance your having to take a dump feeling?
I was like, ooh,
on
the way, like, and I was like breathing, like calm down and whatnot. So I do. I'm always trying to think of like ways to keep myself calm, because with the diabetes, also they always said like, oh, you got to keep calm. No stress. That's all life is.
Right, absolutely.
So the good stress is okay, is it? But
is there such a thing? Good stress?
Yes, there is. Like performing.
Oh, okay.
It's good stress.
I just don't consider that stress. It's something else.
It's the medical terminology, Tony.
Good stress.
Yes.
That sounds like a name of a band.
Good stress.
Like a good pop band. Yeah.
Or it's like the Fine Young Cannibals.
Exactly.
Good stress.
There you go.
Where have you gone home? Good stress. Where do you want? Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, as soon as they left, all of a sudden I'm like crowning. So I went in the bathroom and had a massive and like almost religious experience.
Those are the best. I love those.
And but my wife gave me one of those. Like, she's like, "You want to come with us?" I'm like, "No, I'm not feeling so great." And she goes, "Oh, you going to your podcast tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like you think whatever you want to think. Like I actually like I rarely get like actually upset. Usually I do see the humor in like, yeah, no. And then when they came back, I'm like, so we have the fan in, and it's we enter and exit through our garage, so the garage door right next that's the bathroom door. We had a fan put in when we moved in, and that's because it's Daddy's bathroom. It's my bathroom. And that's the one that has the bidet in it.
Nice.
And I'm now on my second bidet because the other one I
crapped out.
Yes. Try the veal. Be here all week. So I'm like, I'm not turning the fan on because I'm gonna have them walk in from there to be like, oh, remember when I said I didn't feel so good? Yeah, that's what that is. And you have my daughter's always the first ones coming in, of course, because everybody has to be first. And they come in like, oh, oh, Daddy, why'd you do that? Like, well, you didn't put the fan on. And then Becca walks in and she's like, hey, and turn and look. You didn't put the fan on? I'm like, no, I didn't.
You're welcome.
Yes, because we would have been out, and I would have been like, oh God. And now when I was letting the diabetes go nuts, this used to happen fairly often where we'd be like, oh, God, I have to pee. Or, oh, God, I have to shit. And it has to happen like right now. So I'm like, I didn't want that sort of thing to happen. So.
In your face.
Yeah, right in your face, my shit. Your face, my shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Glad you asked.
You so got laid yesterday, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Only oral. Face right down there. See, Tony, I think I've told you this before. I'm always thinking about what could make this worse.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So sex, that's terrible. Her face being down there. She's actually really into ass eating. It was a rusty trombone. See, you have to go one further.
There you go. I just when you said her, that's right, her face was down there. You just looked up with a proud smile. That's what made me laugh.
Nice.
So after that religious experience, you're feeling back to normal.
Oh yeah, no,
really?
I felt a lot better, and I said to her, I'm like, and I mean, it looked terrible. This is a lot of information. I'm curious how many people are watching now at this point.
It's
at its normal level here.
Yeah, pretty much.
But what do you call it? I said to her, I'm like, yeah, I think it was like an odd color and everything. I'm like, I think that was because all the other ones, like I was taking a few here and there. And if you're a Pepto-Bismol fan like I am, you know that stuff's coming out hard and dark.
Right, yes.
When you have to use Pepto.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how everything was kind of coming out. And I'm like, yeah, they probably gave me the steroid version of those. Of Pepto-Bismol, but not as good a taste.
Oh, I can't really like taste.
I love Pepto-Bismol. I'm like, if I could have this all the time.
Really? Well,
yeah.
I guess you could.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that.
You really want to leave on that note?
What else I got here? Well, you know what? I'm going to wish Sallie the best. This is we'll be here tomorrow night with Don, but still, it's the last KDC show that we're doing before her surgery, which is this Tuesday. So we won't be on at all next week. And then that's Thanksgiving week. So I'll probably do a show Wednesday.
Are you guys ever really on?
No. No. So I'll wish Sallie the best. And so this is the last time we'll see you guys on this show before then. They're telling her 2 weeks to a month. So hopefully she won't be laid up too long. But I'll be, like I said, I'll be back the week of Thanksgiving. And Joan Pontillo's coming in one day. Hopefully you'll get in here one day. And I'm going to try and find some other people to join me those 3 days. That's pretty much all I got. I mean, I'm trying to line up some some TV and stuff to watch with her. Like the new Rocky IV just came out, so I want to see that. I mentioned it yesterday.
I know
this show Kin. Have you seen it? I think you'd like it.
No, but I love Charlie Cox because and his name. But he with Daredevil. But the thing that I remember him first from is Stardust.
Oh,
which is a fun movie. Like
I thought you were
that's
gonna
a
say
fun-
Boardwalk Empire. He was on that. Did you not watch that either?
I didn't. I watched again the first few episodes. I'm terrible for episodic
Yeah, I
television.
see that.
Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't work for me. And even with being home a lot this week, I noticed that I really tend towards nonfiction. And it's true with my reading as well over the years. Like tending to away from
That is my
fiction.
reading too. Yeah, I like reading biographies.
Well, not that, you nerd. No, I'm watching a lot of true crime docu-series.
Because you're a psycho.
Like Donde Está Marta?
Yeah.
Which is insane. Where is Marta? It is insane. It's in Spanish. I think you get it dubbed in English. But I like to hear everything. Anything that's originally shot or written and shot in another language, I would rather listen to that language and read the subtitles because it's the real, where it came from.
Okay.
Because you get the overdubs. And
Yeah, I don't like the overdubs either. But
Like
I'll just watch a movie where they speak English.
Like growing well, sometimes an Irishman is forced to speak to an equal. And if he doesn't have another Irishman around, yes, Lord, I'll ask him. That's a Braveheart. I always think of that one. I love I love movies and foreign movies. And to me, they have to, if it's filmed in that language, you have to watch it in that language.
I agree with you.
It just, the emotion, the
Yep.
feel, the
Life
words,
is beautiful.
the words are
Perfect
chosen
example. Right.
to do a thing. Anyway, because I also have a thing. I hate when people are like, it's subtitled.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't care.
They're the same ones that complain about a movie being in black and white.
Pan's Labyrinth. So my wife and I are in Rocky Point renting a movie from Blockbuster. So, dating myself, which I do often. And Pan's Labyrinth was a new release. And I'm like, oh, shit, we didn't get to see this in the theater. I really wanted to see this. And there's one of the lesbians that was working there.
Nice.
Because they were obviously a couple.
Yay.
And she's like, that's, I just want to tell you guys that's subtitled. I'm like, okay, thanks. Yeah, no, I knew that because Guillermo del Toro. But, like, you don't know. I guess that's fine. We get it. We're walking through. We say something about Pan's Labyrinth, and this kid who's working there goes, oh, it's subtitled. And I'm like,
what's with you people?
right. So I'm like, all right. So I do what my grandfather always had done.
Shoot the kid.
And I still do to this day, which is we get online. I put the movie down, give the thing, and I turn to my wife and I go, God, I hope this isn't subtitled or I'm going to freak the fuck out. And she goes, oh my God. And I'm like, I'm just kidding. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's just a lot of people. You don't understand. People freak out. I'm like, yeah, fuck them.
Right. They're stupid.
I'm the cool people. And I had done that years ago when we went to see that big Jet Li movie that was like unbelievably beautiful and incredibly shot.
Hidden tiger crouching.
No.
jungle or
This
whatever.
that wasn't a Jet Li movie. Where Jet Li plays like kind of this legendary dynastic
Lethal
emperor.
Weapon 4.
Yes, that's it. They fuck you at the drive-thru. But we went to go see it, and my best friend and I, and that's the girl up at the front goes, I just want you guys to know that this is subtitled.
That is so
and me
weird.
and my best friend were like that's why we're almost like
Right,
that's
yeah.
why we're here. Because Chinese, especially languages that are that foreign, it's like there's a rhythm and everything, and you just kind of be like, oh wow, and it matches. A lot of times it'll match up, like it's like in the experience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, thanks. And it was in 3D, so like we had to go give the tickets, and the girl rips her tickets. Oh, here you go. And as she's going to get the the 3D glasses. I turned to my friend and I said the same thing, which is, this better not be fucking subtitled. And she's like, oh my God, it totally is, you guys. My best friend's just like, he's just an asshole.
And she's like, yeah, we remember from last time.
That movie theater, which is the Stony Brook Lowe's, AMC Lowe's, whatever. So he and I, we had been out drinking the night before. I forget what movie we were going to see. We were going to like the first showing of something because like it was on a Thursday and the movie started being released on Thursdays. And it must have been a day off for school kids because there were these teenage girls in front of us. And we're hung over. And we're waiting in line for the concession. And the Nobel laureate that's behind the counter is taking his sweet time inventing how to get people their popcorn and drinks. And they're just like, and we're talking about something very serious about girlfriends and whatnot. And finally, he just has had it. And now my best friend was a great looking dude, great shape, former Marine Corps sniper, Suffolk County cop. It was like dating him for girls was like winning the fucking lottery.
Yeah.
Right. And he was always like the number 1 or number 2 when we went out.
Yep.
You know, and I'm like number 4 or 5 in the list.
Yeah,
Like we've sat there and done it and been like, well, Rob, Eric, Jay. Then I maybe, and then whoever I'm talking to, maybe you. I don't know. We're 4 or 5 interchangeable, and then obviously 6 or 7.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there was that conversation that time. They're all saying how hot you are.
No, trust me. If when next to my very good-looking friends, and but he's like, finally he just goes, girls, please. They like,
ew.
Yeah, like give him this look, and no, they were behind us because he just is like, girls, please. And he goes, I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, no. And so we go up, right? And I go first, and I get my shit. He goes up, and fucking man about town, whatever, turns around and he goes, is that all? I'm like, and he goes, actually, whatever they're having. And they're like, no, thank you. I lost my shit. Because he was like this, he was a really good looking dude.
Yeah.
But he had gone just too far. And we were just getting to be too old.
Right.
For that to be like a what are you trying to fuck these 14-year-olds?
Right.
Like it was starting to get creepy. And like, sorry, dude, even fucking Superman.
Right.
Like, is this green kryptonite around?
It is a weird feeling when you realize that you've crossed that threshold of, like, I remember when I first started Trueson's class, I was trying to work out a joke that I had written like that, and it went nowhere, so I gave up on it. But you can say certain things to a girl, and she'll hit you. Oh, you stop that! You're such a pig. Where if I say it now at this age, somebody's calling the cops.
Yeah, but see, what's funny is in another 25 years, if you were to say it, they're like,
oh, he's a cute little dirty old man.
Right.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of come back as a sine wave.
Yeah. So when I'm but that's the thing though. It doesn't come back because like again, they're just looking at you as a cute, funny old man. They don't think that the old man really means it. They don't think the old man is really trying to get laid. They're just like, oh, he's so funny, he's so cute, he's old. He doesn't know what he's saying.
Right.
And then you're just sitting there waiting, and nothing happened.
But I told that story to everybody that we knew. This is like because I worked in the bars and whatnot in Smithtown, and so there was like this all the people, the industry people and the regulars and whatnot. I was telling all these people this story. We used to say that there were the 4 horsemen of Smithtown, who were these 4 guys who every girl just wanted to be with. One was Noel, one of the Irish bartenders, my best friend. There's another guy, Rob Stewart, who's a firefighter, was from Smithtown, grown up in Smithtown and everything. Yeah. Firefighter, really good-looking dude. Rugged good-looking. Like and all these guys are rugged good-looking dudes. And then the 4th was a friend of mine, Jimmy Brunke, who was like
Jimmy Brunke.
Yeah, who's kind of like probably the smoothest looking, the least rugged of this group. And so that demographic went for him. And it was. If you met any girl and you mentioned that you were friends with any one of those, Rob Stewart or Rob the Marine was my best. Like, Rob the Marine? I'm like, yeah. And it was over.
You're like the roadie. I'm with the band.
Yeah, it was. I was the middle. I always told people I was the middle reliever when I went out with my friends. They would start up a conversation with a girl, and they'd be like, "You could tell they get bored." And they'd be like, "This is my friend Andy. He's really funny." And then I'm stuck talking to this hot chick.
Yeah, right.
Really, because then I'm like, I can't get away because my psychosis makes me stay here and keep talking and talking and talking and talking and make you laugh, and making you laugh. And then they would come in at the end, and they would go home with them or out in the parking lot.
Oh,
Like, really? You're welcome.
Yeah,
Was
right.
that the ride home? You're welcome.
right. You're
Next
waiting.
morning.
It's not like they made money where they can give you a cut.
Right.
I'm sorry.
It's been a really rough emotional week for me.
Glad you're doing better.
Yeah. I'm also glad that we took the time to get off of my shit. Damn it.
Well, thank you, pal.
Thank you.
It was fun, and thank you for farting with Eddie Brill.
Oh my God.
I can't wait to watch that
fucking
again.
Cool.
Yeah, he was really cool. I really enjoyed that, and I didn't expect him to stay with us for 40 minutes.
That was,
That's why I cut it short. I just felt bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think we do well in here with guests. I mean, Kevin Pollak did, I think, almost an hour. Ray Abruzzo from The Sopranos, he did, I think, at least an hour. Bill Champlin from Chicago, we cut him off at an hour because he told us he only had a half hour.
Right.
So I just cut him. I think he would have kept going.
The other guy at the Levittown thing.
Oh, the one that was here with us. Yeah, he
was a cool dude. Like,
he
I
would
gotta
have lived
say,
here. Yeah. Although he was, didn't he get mad at us or something?
No, I don't think so.
No? Oh, okay. Maybe I'm confusing him with somebody else. No, he had a good time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Dan Teague.
He was a super cool guy.
Yeah, he was
like,
a nice guy.
I didn't know what to expect. And then it was like, oh my God, this is one of these because he was a big union guy.
Yes. Wow. Did you guys have your guitars that day?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He had his guitar, and he was like,
okay.
and I don't think he appreciated the fill-in.
Maybe I knew there was something.
I think there's a possibility that he didn't enjoy that, but I feel like if you went back, like it was like,
No, there was a lot of praise after, and he was emailing me for a few days after that.
Right.
Like, yeah, and he promised me that he would invite me to his show, which he never did.
Right.
Yeah. Bastard. Yeah, fucking hate that guy.
No wonder you think.
Yeah, right. Nobody loves me.
Or this is a cry fest. This is the Beaches episode.
Beaches.
That's a deep dive.
Did you ever know that you're mine?
Have you noticed that a lot of my references are like Bette Midler?
I have.
She was a huge influence on my early teens.
Really?
Yeah, because Beaches came out in '87, so I was like 12. Yeah,
And you love that movie?
I did. The chick was so hot, especially when she got sick.
What, Barbara Hershey?
Yeah, that's her.
Especially when she got sick.
It's like, finally, she's thin. She's thin enough, finally.
Oh, my God. DJ D-Love, if don't seen you all of you have happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, DJ D-Love. Winter. Yes, and all the best to the Winter family. All right, so today is Friday. I don't think there's anything on the rest of the day. Live from Governor's Green Room tomorrow night at probably around 7:30. Christy Miller and Mark Riccadonna Sunday night at 8 for Christy Unleashed. And then that's it. And somebody wished Sallie well. Who was it? Kirsten. You'll be missed next week. Thank you, Kirsten. We'll miss you guys. It's going to be weird. I don't
even know what I'm going to do.
You want to?
All next week.
Yeah, right. I'll teach you how to use this shit. You come in. So all the best to Sallie. We're going to miss you guys. And I'm going to attempt to take footage with my phone and then edit it all together and show it when I return. I don't know how much she'll let me do. I'll probably show up here with a black eye. Not a black guy. No.
That's
Well,
what that
I
sound-
might too. If a
Dude,
black guy wants to come in.
Like 'cause the connection with Eddie Brill, like sometimes was like
Yeah, like a little bit.
modulating or whatever. When he said direction,
I thought he said erection. Yes. I thought it was just me.
and I'm like, I don't know him well enough. Like if it was any of my friends, I'd be like,
Yep.
you said erection. Now I can't hear anything else you're saying.
I thought it was just me. I heard that too. I can't wait to watch the farting part over again. Holy shit! I was crying, and then I tried to cover
I
it.
saw the
I tried
drink
to
of
cover
water.
it
I'm
with
like,
the fake drink of a water.
and that's how I'm like, because I looked at you for a second, and then I looked away, and you went. That's when you did the thing, and I'm like, yeah, I can't look at him for the rest of this fucking interview.
And this poor bastard, when he watches back, what the fuck are these guys doing? I'm trying to talk to them. I'm trying to teach them about comedy. I'm Eddie freaking Brill, damn it.
No, he was so cool.
Yeah, he was really cool.
He just seems like somebody you just want to hang out, like an actual, just a cool dude to just like know.
Yeah.
Like forget about like that you could learn so much from him.
Yeah. I easily could have went another hour with him.
Yeah.
I just felt it was the right thing to do
Yeah,
to cut it off, you know?
I'd leave him wanting more.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we do here.
Yeah.
We leave you wanting more.
Or wanting anything.
We're leaving them wanting more of their Friday back.
Anything. Something.
We'll see you tomorrow for the Green Room. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend. Thank you, guys. Thank you, pal.
Thank you.
We'll miss you next week. All right. We'll see you. Have a great